Okay, so we got a customer that says the lawnmower is surging. So the first thing we'll do is we'll start it up and see if we can hear it. Okay, so there is a little bit of surging and backfiring. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hook up an external tank to the carburetor with fresh fuel in it. So let's take off the hood. Okay, so the lights are already disconnected, so I don't have to deal with that. And all you got to do is lift, kind of lean forward a little bit, and lift the hood up. And it should pop right out there, like that. Okay, in order to hook up an external tank, what we're going to do is we're going to shut off the gas here. If we didn't have a shut-off valve, we would have just used the vice grips. Remove the hose clamp, pop off the hose from the carburetor, and then I have a tank full of, well, not full, just a little bit of gas in this. We'll hook up the tank here, and it'll work like an IV. I just hold it up, and now we'll start the engine. Okay, so it's still backfiring. Now, in order to take the fuel tank, external fuel tank off, what you got to do is lower the tank below the carburetor, and that keeps it from dripping all over you. So now we'll replace the carburetor. So the customer admitted that they left gas in it over the winter, so we could clean it, but I'm telling you, with aftermarket carburetors from companies like HIPA, H-I-P-A, HIPA, they're so cheap that it's not even worth cleaning them or rebuilding them. I mean, even if I had to build, get a rebuild kit on it, it would be the same cost as just buying the HIPA. And with HIPA, you get all kinds of extra parts like an air filter, spark plugs, those kind of things. So we'll go ahead and just replace it. We got 2 bolts for the air filter housing that we got to remove, and then we'll remove the carburetor nuts. Now the air filter housing will come right off. There's a vent tube right here that we're going to have to pop out of there. I might just, yeah, we'll take it off. Should have mentioned this is a Briggs carburetor, Briggs engine. So now we're going to remove these 2 bolts here. Carburetor will drop down, then we'll take off the solenoid wire, and then we can remove the carburetor. Now the hook goes into the upper direction, so you got to remember that. And then we'll remove the throttle. That was the choke, so we'll remove the throttle, just turn it, pops right off like that. Okay, so here's the old carburetor, and here's the new one. Now this is a, there's two different types of carburetors when you look at a Briggs & Stratton. There's the Nicky carburetor and the Walboro carburetor. I think I'm saying that right. And it doesn't really make any difference. The difference is one, it has all the plastic components inside, and that's kind of a junky one. This one is. This one is more robust. It's all, you know, cast in one piece, and these are better. And the easiest way to identify that is the fuel intake. This one's just a straight little shootout, where this one has a little bend in it. Now this is a HIPA carburetor, HIPA carburetor. I really like these. The only downside to them is the amount of holes they have in the choke. It really doesn't do a good job choking, so I always take those out and trade them out. And so that's all it does, you just pop it right out. And we'll take the one out of here. And you see that one's only got 2 holes. Slide this one back into here. Alright, so we got it switched over, and I had to grind a little bit off the top of that one. It was a little bit big, but I finally got it to go in. It lines up pretty good. The choke still springs back, so everything seems to be working. Okay, so now we're going to reassemble it. So we get our throttle put on. Then we have this wire spring that goes into the hole next to it. And then we have our choke. And we're going to put that with the hook up. And then the choke slides into this little slot right here and just hangs out there. Put our gasket back. Now we're going to check to make sure everything moves correctly. Seems to move. We'll put our fuel line back on. All right, so that's all there is to replacing a carburetor. Now, if you didn't want to replace that butterfly, you wouldn't have to. You could figure out a way to cover up those 2 holes, seal up those 2 holes, or 3 holes on that one side of that butterfly, because you know, you got to grind it to get it to fit, especially if you're working with a Nicky and a Walbro carburetor. They don't match up quite perfectly. Now, if you're doing a Nicky to Nicky or Walbro to Walbro, then they would match up. So, a little modification, but I'd much rather use the HIPAA aftermarket carburetor. They just always work better. So if you'll click this up next box, it'll take you to a video where I was working on something. So I hope this video helps you fix your equipment under the shade tree. Thanks for watching.